I am actually going to get started. Everybody can definitely see my screen. Where you guys are typing in, this is where all your questions go, so I appreciate that. And welcome to the CoderZ League Sprint Challenge. This was at the request of you guys. Teachers said, hey, we want something in the spring, and our development team put themselves hard at work and put together the Sprint Challenge for this March competition. My name is Kathy Scott. I am a district account manager for CoderZ here in the United States. And with us is the famous, the one, the only, Yossi Gershon. Yossi is one of our commentators for the CoderZ League. We call him Mr. Twitch. That's what we just
That
decided.
is true.
The Twitch guy. So he did all the commentation for the finals and the competition that we live streamed on Twitch for CoderZ League. So if you did participate, I'm sure that you do recognize Yossi. So let's move on. So why do competitions even matter today? Student motivation, first and foremost. Learning happens when students play. CoderZ League supports both play and learning while motivating your students to improve skills. In this case, it's virtual robotics and coding. Collaboration in community and teams, and student teams. Students learn from each other and from execution. They learn by doing, and they learn through the outcomes. So that's what we're looking for. In this case, Yossi's going to give you all the outcomes that you're going to be challenged with here. And the outcomes lead to project-based learning, which naturally engages students to communicate, collaborate, and creatively use those skills they've learned to improve on their outcomes. We're always striving to improve, learn by doing, all of that. Critical thinking and computational thinking are core at the heart of what algorithmic thinking is, the beginning, the middle, and the end. And we want to make sure that we support kids throughout that. CoderZ League Spring Challenge fosters all the benefits of learning while playing. So I'm going to show you one of our testimonials. Cross your fingers and make sure I get it all right. Oops, let me move it over.
My favorite is Robogolf because it's fun and I like sports.
I got to use unique curve turns that I could create myself to help me get the balls in faster, and it really works my brain.
My favorite game is Disco Blocks because one of my favorite subjects is math, and it involves a lot of math.
Okay, and Yossi, don't forget to turn back your microphone back on. So are we back to the presentation? I just want to make sure, Yossi, if you'll show me a thumbs up, that'll make sure I've got it back in the right spot for us. Yay. Okay. So
wait. No, I don't see it yet.
Oh, you're right, because I didn't go back. Thank you. Okay, so now you should be good. Is that better?
Yeah, but also the video pops up on a separate screen. So if you've missed it, there's another screen that pops out, and you'll need to enlarge it. I'm talking to the participants. So we'll have more videos. This one was more based on sound, but in the next videos, if you don't see anything while the sound is playing, just look for another window.
Okay, so they would actually have to look at a different window themselves. I can't put it up in front. Okay, so I'll try something different on the next one, see if it works. Thank you for letting me know. I appreciate it. So we want to talk a little bit about why inclusivity matters. And for CoderZ, inclusivity is the core of everything we do, competitions included. So we want to make sure that we include any and all levels of students. And in the past, the data you see here, we've had over 150,000 participants. 50% of the teachers, this is amazing, no computer science prior knowledge. They haven't done it before. So don't be afraid to jump off the deep end. We'll be there to help you and carry you through. Lots of rural schools, 40% of our participants have been females. Let's go girls is what I say, you know, and I've got a good background here supporting me. Oh, that's my dog on the sofa. She is a girl though. But we definitely want to grow those numbers. And we're looking for underrepresented populations. So we're super excited that we have the Sprint Challenge, and we'll bring more of those underrepresented populations into coding and robotics. Teachers. The teachers share their thoughts. They say it the best. So, you know, we had a teacher, actually, I'll let you guys read through some of these quotes. I won't read them to you. But we have a teacher in Northern California who did a webinar with us recently, Denise Fabris, and I don't know if she's on today or not, but I am actually calling her out a little bit. She shared with us that she had a student who participated in CoderZ and said to her that they would have never known they liked coding and robotics if they hadn't tried it with us. And they felt comfortable because they were successful. So when you're the kid that isn't the one that naturally says, pick me, that's the kid we want to find, the one that doesn't naturally do that. And hopefully you're able to pull some of those kids together for our Sprint Challenge. And be one of the teachers that we quote next time. How's that? So challenge goals. What are we looking to accomplish? All in for students, no matter their experience level. That is so critical, first and foremost. Super easy access, browser-based and optimized for your Chromebooks. Just most of you out there have them. And all inclusive for teachers and students. We are here to have serious fun. Below at the bottom of this is the link to information on our webpage. And now we're gonna talk about details, and I am gonna turn it over to Yossi.
That's awesome. Thank you, Kathy. So if you participate in CoderZ League, then you're seeing an extra division here called Novice, and I would like to talk about it. And as you all know, in CoderZ League, we had 2 divisions. Now we have a third one called Novice. Junior will be aimed at middle schoolers. We'll show you in a minute all the exact divisions. But middle schoolers are more, will probably have a better time joining junior. Pro is for high schoolers, and novice is a bit more for elementary. But other than age, there's also kind of the knowledge or the prior knowledge that needs to be, that the students need in order to participate. So this is something that we get a lot. My student has no prior knowledge. Can they participate? And that's exactly why we started the Novice Division. Novice Division requires no prior knowledge. It's an introductory division for students who have never participated in any CoderZ activities and have no prior knowledge in computer science. This is a great way to learn about simple structure of code, simple tasks, operating the robot at the very basic levels. This is what Novice is all about. Junior dives a bit more deeper into loops and conditions. And Pro is on a whole another level where it becomes way more challenging. There are many sensors that students need to use simultaneously. They need a sensor to wait for another sensor. This is something that we're very known for, that our robots use a lot of sensors. And Pro requires a lot of strategy and a lot of strategy and tactics and knowing everything that needs to be known about the robots. So let's start by diving into Novice. So what can we expect in Novice? Novice has 2 games. Every division will have 2 games. The competition, the CoderZ League, was way longer. So in this challenge, we only have 2 games, and we'll also be challenging to complete all of them. And by the way, I personally went with the team, and we've went over every single mission, and a lot of the missions changed. Some of the missions were removed, and there are a lot of new missions. So everything that will happen in the challenge is already improved. So we have 2 games, Disco Blocks and RoboGolf. RoboGolf is a game where it's more about calculating angles and measuring distances, where students will control the robot. They have balls on the ground and they need to make the robot push the balls into these putts in the ground. And Disco Blocks is all about math. The students need to not only get the robot, which is called Zappy, they not only need to get Zappy to the target, they also need to make sure that in their way they get the most points. Once they press a block, meaning they go over it, the block changes its number from plus 50 to minus 50. Meaning if there's a block that says minus and they go over it, then they have to make a solution as of how they can go back and maybe get the points back so that they won't finish without the maximum amount of points. Now, something that's very important to note here is that we've added a tutorial. This tutorial is specifically built for those two games, meaning if students with no prior knowledge go here, they will go over the tutorial and they can complete it. And I'm sure the stronger students will kind of cut in the middle and say, well, I've seen enough. I think I'm good enough to start playing. And that's fine by us. The tutorial is there to help the students understand CoderZ better and kind of get the hang of the ropes. This is what the tutorial is all about. And I think we also have a video to showcase one of the games. Kathy, do the honors.
Let's, so I'm gonna, can you see the screen and the blank for the video yet, Yossi?
I see, no, I don't see it.
Okay.
Currently, I don't see anything.
Do you see, is it on the screen you see now? I moved it to my other screen.
Yes, it's in the pop-up. So if you see, you have two screens. It says go to webinar webcams and just go to webinar. So if you just press on go to webinar, you're able to see.
That's for our audience, right?
I hope they see it.
Me too. So fingers crossed, if anybody could put a little note in the questions if you see the video.
High in the skies of Planet Disco, way up in the heavens, magic blocks glow when they're touched. Your goal is to earn as many points as possible before reaching the target. Every tile has two opposing signs. Driving over a tile causes it to flip between the signs. Reaching the target ends the level. Falling off the grid is not something you want to get used to. One recommended tactic is to sketch the level on paper and try to draw the optimal path for the robot. There's always a simple solution, but a more calculated one will yield better results. May the code be with you.
Yeah, thank you all for answering. It's pretty cool how active everyone is. So thank you. This is one of the games that looks pretty simple, but a funny story is that we kind of held a company training. We decided to do a training for all the company, and we let everybody play Disco Blocks. And surprisingly enough, some of the levels, the later levels, were pretty tough. So even if it looks kind of simple and you think, my kids are gonna have so much, it's gonna be so easy. So you'll be surprised at how difficult these problems can be. But coding wise, this is totally simple. You need to drive. It's very, very basic. It says grade 4 to 7. This is our suggestion. If you think from knowing your students that this could be something that would fit them, go for it if they're a bit older. But this is our suggestion. It's up to you to decide. If you have third graders who you think could definitely take on this as a challenge, then go for it. I really advise it. It's a great challenge for beginners. So let's move on.
One of our questions too, Yossi, just so you know, they were asking if it was just recommendations, and
yeah, so just recommendation.
Okay, great.
Yeah. Oh, video says junior. Yeah, it used to be junior because we split junior into novice and junior.
That's right. Okay, sorry, you're right. Okay, because I did let him know it was novice. Okay, so you ready to move on to the next one?
Yeah, let's move on to junior. So junior is for 7th to 9th graders, and just like I talked about before, we also had 10 and I think even 11 graders in the league that participated in junior because they had no prior experience, and also we also had sixth graders that participated in junior. But this time, this is important because we split junior into because junior in the league was disco blocks, robo golf, and farm fever, and lasers versus balloons. So this is super crucial because if your students participated last time, if you had like 6th graders that participated in junior with no prior knowledge, then this time it might not be the best suited because we took the 2 harder games. Farm Fever and Lasers vs. Balloons are the harder games that were in junior. So even if in the league you participate in junior with your 6th graders and they've had a lot of fun, this time it's going to be a lot tougher. So take that into account because Farm Fever and Lasers vs. Balloons are pretty tough games for 6th graders. And also we said that we would advise the students that participate in this division either have participated in FLL, WRO, are STEM students, or have done any CoderZ prior activity, because Farm Fever and Lasers with Balloons can be kind of tough. Those are, I think, when we've designed the levels of these games, these were, let's imagine if there was an escape room that is inside a simulation. That's how these levels are played. They are kind of riddles, and for 6th graders they could be a bit challenging. But as I said, if you feel like your students are very strong and they have what it takes to take on the challenge, go for it. But you will need to be with them, hold their hand, because it's going to be tough. That's just putting it out there. That's what junior is all about. Farm Fever is a game where the robot moves around the farm. They need to press buttons to open gates. They collect fruit in the way. There's some line following that students that have done FLL are very familiar with. And in Lasers vs. Balloons, just like you can see in the left picture, it says tutorials, but I think the picture is flipped. You have mirrors and there are lasers, and they have to make the mirrors reflect the laser onto balloons and pop these balloons. It's very fun, it's very exciting, I think visually stunning, but it's way more difficult. It's on another level from disco blocks and laser and robo golf. And we also have an introductory video here too. So Kathy, will you do the honors?
Before I show that real quick, there was a question that I think would be appropriate to answer because we were talking about the recommended grade levels. I don't remember who it was, but they're asking if I sign my kids up for novice and find out they're ready for junior, can I change them?
Oh, change what you signed up for?
Mm.
I'm sure you can through customer support. At least I think it should be pretty easy to do.
Okay, so here we go. We're going to show you our laser.
In Dr. Hania's lab, you can find all sorts of crazy gadgets. You're free to play with any of them, but he specifically asked not to touch the lasers. What's the worst that could happen? In Lasers vs. Balloons, your goal is simple. Pop as many balloons as you can before time runs out. To win this challenge, rotate the laser cannons by using the robot's radio block. You can redirect the lasers using the prisms and mirrors. Hit the switches to open the doors. If the laser blast energizes the receptors for long enough, your battery recharges, giving you more time to work with. Your robot can physically push and rotate the mirrors. Its ultrasonic sensor can help you measure the exact distance to an object and allow you to manufacture a more precise solution. May the code be with you.
So that was Laser Visible Balloons. I always get goosebumps when I see this one because it's super cool. And I see some comments saying that too. So I'm happy you're all as excited as I am. Yes, it's a super awesome game. But as you can imagine, as teachers, this to students can be very challenging, and that's why you put it on a different level, on a separate level. And we kind of create this separation because disco blocks and robogolfs are just way easier than Fire and Fever and Laser Twisted Balloons, and that's why we created this separation. Let's. Oh, by the way, you can't see the presentation, Kathy.
Thank you. Yep.
So let's move on straight to Pro.
Perfect.
So Pro is kind of the unique division. It's for 9th to 12th graders, more of a high school type thing. It has 2 games, Battery Raid and Line on Mars. Those are already way more challenging games than anything we've seen before. It uses a lot of sensors, and it uses the detection of sensors as kind of a condition to use sensors. So that's like already a whole another level of depth that these challenges have. And I think someone asked about the coding language. You can compete either with Python and Blockly, so it's up to you. I think it's a great way to start using Python. I personally prefer using Python, but Blockly is fine. Those are very simple tasks. As a developer, I think it's a great way to be introduced to Python because those are very simple tasks. There's a documentation button where when you press it, it shows you how to use the command, what kind of variables it takes to use it. So a great way to be introduced into computer science on a higher level. If your students, by the way, have participated in junior in CoderZ League, I think Pro is a great way to advance, even if your students are a bit younger. If they have participated and enjoyed CoderZ League, I think Pro is definitely the next step for them. These challenges are completely different. We wanted to create a variety. By the way, something I didn't talk about is that all the divisions, even the divisions that are not Novice, have a tutorial. And this tutorial, it's important to talk about what can we expect in this tutorial. So since, as we say, we expect students that come to junior and pro to have some sort of background knowledge, this tutorial is more of an introductory way to get to know CoderZ. We do not expect anyone coming to CoderZ to know how to operate sensors inside CoderZ. So obviously, this is one of the major issues that we talk about. One of the major ideas that we talk about in the tutorial. We say, hey, this is an ultrasonic sensor. This is how you use it. This is the color sensor. This is how you use it. And not necessarily welcome to Python. So do not expect that. This is not what we do there. We just introduce students to CoderZ and those tutorials for junior and pro. And in Novice, we just, we give them everything they need to know to start playing. But for junior and pro, it's more about the specific commands that they need to know to complete those, to play in those games. The background knowledge you talked about is 102. 102 is a course that students that completed 101 do. FLLW are all graduates, and it doesn't say it here, but junior graduates, if you've done CoderZ League, I think definitely those are the prime candidates, I think, to join pro. It's a great way. I think a lot of students have, a lot of schools had classes for both junior and pro, and I think it's great feeling for students who looked up to the higher class students who've done pro to kind of do what they were doing. I think it's awesome and it's great progression. It's a great I think Junior is a great stepping stone to Pro. And we also have a video just showcasing what can we expect in a game, Line on Mars.
Yep.
So let's go to Mars.
In addition to that, I'm also just going to take this while I'm setting this up a second to mention the user's guide is also available, and I'm sure Yossi will talk a little bit more about that, as well as one question that came up, Yossi, is they're asking if the tutorial will be available before March 1st.
The tutorial will not be available before March 1st, but the user guide is already out there. The user guide is way more detailed than it was in CoderZ League. We've added a ton of stuff there. And a lot of the teacher guide that used to be in CoderZ League is embedded into the user guide. So a lot of things that if you've seen it in the teacher guide, we just put it in the user guide. And we've also added a lot of stuff, a lot of commands. We've also expanded our knowledge base. We have a kind of a tutorial into the knowledge base for every single command in Blockly. So if you're like, what does turn to do? Then you can just search for it and the knowledge base, and you'll find an explanation of what is turn to, how to use it, and so on.
Perfect. Okay, I'm going to show the video, and then Yossi, I would love for you to talk a little bit about, and I know we're going to go into more details of the logistics, but a big question out there that everybody has is, if I want to have more, like multiple teams, can they be at different levels?
So let's watch the video and answer all the questions after it.
Perfect.
Mars, humanity's best hope for an alternative, livable planet. In this challenge, a series of roads lies ahead. At the end of every road awaits a gate that leads to a new, undiscovered road. You must program Ruby to drive as far as possible down these roads. Be careful though, any mistake will cost you. Pass through the gates to give yourself points and additional time. Signs let Ruby know what the path ahead looks like. To successfully traverse the red planet, you must build a code that makes use of Ruby's color sensors to help the robot read the signs and follow the line. May the code be with you.
Line on Mars, a deceivingly simple game. One of the easier games to play and the harder ones to master. It can be very, very difficult on the harder levels because time as it progresses, you get less time and you have less time, so it becomes way harder. But definitely a great challenge. Students, I think, learn about the efficiency of their code and how to make a robust code that is adaptable to any situation, because what happens is that once they go through a gate, the path ahead is generated randomly. So there's no way to just, like in other games, to kind of memorize the road and just put a code that completes each path. But you have to be adaptable for any road that will lie ahead after the next one. So that's Line on Mars. Battery Raid is a game where you use ultrasonic color sensor, also gyro. You can fall off of the island. The island expands, and your job is to stay as much time as possible. You need to find the batteries and go to them and suck the energy out of them and stay and live longer. I think Pro is also another great division and a great way to be introduced into computer science for a language like Python. If you've done something like Junior, so that's it for all three divisions. Kathy, do you want to move on to some questions?
Well, here's one of the things I wanted to share. And I'm going to put the leaderboard up just so we can look at that while we talk a little bit, if that's okay. One of the questions is, do we have the videos? Because we do have videos for each of the games, right?
They're on
Where-
YouTube, on our YouTube channel.
Perfect. So they're on our YouTube channel. We'll add that link in as well for everybody. A lot of questions about multiple teams and multiple levels. Here's what I'm going to say. We will help you out. We will work with you. We have different ways that you can add teams. Each team of 5, though, has to stay on the same level. So if you have a team of 5 students, they're all on the same level of games, right, Yossi? Is that right?
Yeah, I think what a lot of teachers are asking, since the prices get way lower when you buy more teams, what if I buy a school license and I want half of the teams to do junior and half of the teams to do pro? Currently, we do not support that. The option to split some of the teams, if you buy a license, any license, a school, a team, or a class license, they are not splittable inside the bundle that you bought. So if you bought 40 teams for junior, you cannot just assign 20 of them to pro. Not currently. It might be something that we do in the up ahead, but currently for this challenge, we do not allow that. As for the lead, yeah, sorry, what?
No, we hear the request, and we improve with every iteration.
Right. Let's talk about the leaderboard. So a lot of questions about, how does it work? Okay, so I saw cool games. Now what? It's all about the leaderboard, because this is a competition, to remind you. I mean, yes, they come and learn computer science, but that's kind of a smaller issue. We are here to compete. And how does that work? So every team is part of 2 leaderboards. If you can see below this header that says Sprint Challenge Novice Leaderboard, there are 2 tabs. One is region name, which is the region, and my school. Region name is a state leaderboard. Teams will be divided by states. We really wanted to do that in this challenge, for it to be a statewide championship. Meaning, if I'm from California, then I'm competing against all teams in California. But we've also added a my school leaderboard. And the reason we added that is because a lot of schools says, well, I don't really care about defeating every single other team in California. I already know my students are the best. What I want to do is have an internal competition. And what we've done is we've kind of added those 2, so it's up to you to decide how you kind of do it. You're automatically part of both of them, so there's nothing you need to do. You don't need to configure anything to be part of one or the other. You are already part of both of them. So once you sign in, you start playing, you're already you can see your team in both of these leaderboards. In the state leaderboard, you will see how well your team fares against all other teams in your state. So if I'm a school from Los Angeles, then I see all other schools and teams from California. If for example, I'm part of a big school that has 8 teams of STEM, then I have the option to say, well, that's cool, but I want to talk about more an internal competition. And this is where my school leaderboard comes into play. This is your chance to monitor only teams that are from my school. So let's say, for example, I'm in a team in Los Angeles and I'm a principal. I have 8 teams and I want to host this internal competition. I can do whatever I want. I just see on the leaderboard who at the end of the competition is the first place. I can hand out medals, I can hand out a trophy. It's up to me to decide how to deal with it and just do it internally. And you can do both. You can do both, or you can even do it just as a fun learning experience. It's up to you. We did not want to put a paywall between any of the leaderboards to just say, okay, you get both of them. It's up to you to decide as teachers, as principals, how you want to run it. So it's up to you. Below it, you can see overall, robo golf, and disco block. So you can see the leaderboard by how well my team is doing only in the RoboGolf challenge, only in the Disco Blocks challenge, or overall, which means in the missions. But we didn't talk about the format because we assume that a lot of you have participated in CoderZ League. But the way the competition works is that there are missions and challenges. Missions are these first levels where students kind of get the hang of it. Even though we have a tutorial and we expect students to do some of the tutorial to get the hang of it, the missions by themselves are built in a way that is supposed to be that every mission is the stepping stone for the next mission. So we've built it with, I came from the game design world. So that's when a student plays Mario, when a kid plays Mario is already built in a way, is already designed in a way that while they get to the final boss, they've already learned all they need to learn in order to defeat the boss. That's how we do it. There are missions, and then at the end there's a challenge. And every mission gives the students more and more information, and is another stepping stone so that when they get to the challenge, they have all the tools they need to be able to play it. Every mission gives them up to 100 points towards the team's total. And the challenge, the way the challenge works is the student that has the highest score in the challenge represents their team. So if I have a team of 5 students and one of them got 100 points, the other got 200, 300, 400, 500. The one that got 500 points is the team representative, and it shows on the leaderboard that my team has 500 points for that challenge. And then when time runs out, which is on March 31st, all teams get a bonus for how well they've done on a challenge. So it's pretty simple. Missions, challenges, missions, 100 points, and challenge, it depends on how well my team fared against other teams. So pretty simple. Leaderboard has two tabs: state leaderboard, where I play against every other team in my state, and school leaderboard, where I play against other teams in my school. That was a lot to take in, but I think you'll get used to it. Even if it was kind of, even if you missed out on some of the stuff, you can go to our user guide, and everything there is explained from A to Z.
Yossi, I think that our attending Beth says it best. She says, OMG, I'm so pumped for my students. COVID has crushed these kids. That is awesome, Beth. We're super excited for you too. So one question came up right after Beth too is, are team scores cumulative?
So missions are cumulative, meaning if I've done, if me and Kathy are on the same team, she would love to have me on her team. I'm pretty good. So I get 100 points, Kathy gets 100 points, our team has 200 points. Okay. If in the challenge, it's just only which of us has the most points. So students can just grind out. One of the strategies that we've seen in the tournament in CoderZ League is that some of the students were tasked to grind throughout all the missions, and some of the students were totally focused on the challenges to get the highest score possible. And they obviously they can talk to each other, share their code, create a strategy. One of the students says, I think we should go that way. Then another student say, no, we should totally go that way. And then they find out the best solution, and they get a great score. Students got to insanely high scores in these challenges.
Perfect. So another question came up, how will teams of different sizes be judged? Aren't all teams are teams of 5 or less, right? Yeah. If I don't have, like if I only have 8 kids, I might have a team of 3 or 2 teams of 4 or something like that.
Yeah, I think the difference between a team of 4 or a team of 3 to a team of 5 is fairly insignificant. The challenges make up for a lot of the difference. So, it's also a lot. It's a lot to complete in a month. You've seen we've shown the amount of hours we think should be invested in order to complete everything. So it's a lot. So not even a team of 5, I think, can. I think it's just up to your strategy and how you think you can complete everything. Just find a way to tackle the challenges, and I think you'll do just fine.
Perfect. Another quick question before we move on to the timeline is, oh, where did it go? It was a good question too. It was about, like, in CoderZ League, you had a team captain and you had to build a flag and all that. So this is all about points, right? So how do you?
Yeah, there is no team captain. The team captain mechanic was relevant to the final challenge. You know, basketbot and topplebot. We do not have a final challenge. This sprint challenge does not is only the preliminaries part. So it's much more brief. There is no need for a captain. Nothing gets submitted. There is no Twitch part. It's just students playing, learning. This is kind of a much more simpler, much more fast-paced competition.
I think we said it earlier at the beginning. It's sort of like you're playing and you're learning, and it's outcomes and it's points. It's let's work towards that outcome, right?
Right. It's
Perfect.
a great way to be introduced to this world. As for the timeline, the registration opened on January 18. Today is the webinar. On February 15, in 5 days, you will get access to start creating the teams and invite students. So we wanted to give early access for teachers to be able to do that, so that they won't waste any time once the competition starts to invite students and then, whoa, I didn't get the link and I don't know how to join. So you have 2 weeks prior to just organize, decide which student goes to each team. You have full 2 weeks to do that. If you have any issues, contact us and support, and we'll help you out. Everything should be working on February 15, but you will not be able to play tutorial missions or challenges. Only creating teams and inviting students. We have another webinar on February 24, and on March 1st, the competition will begin on 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So be ready with your students. 8 a.m. is a charge, start playing. And when we release it, we release all the missions, but not the challenges, because we want the students to kind of focus on the missions and the tutorials at first, to kind of get the hang of it before they jump headfirst into the challenges. And on March 15, you have access to the challenges as well. Just to give you an idea, the challenges are like every division has 2 games. There are some 15 missions or so in one challenge. So it's not like you lose access to a ton of the content. You only don't have access to the challenge, just so that just to make sure students get a chance to learn everything. And then on March 15, they get access to the challenges, and they have 2 weeks to tackle the challenges, get the highest score. And on March 31, the competition will end. You will still be able to see your teams, but you will not be able to play the games anymore on April 1st. And we will also tally all the bonus points that you got for your challenges, and you will see the leaderboard, and we'll announce the winners.
Outstanding. That's outstanding. Okay, so this is a big question, Yossi, coming up.
Right. Okay, so what it costs. So a team of, just to begin with, the structure is by teams. I'll explain everything and then talk about what does it mean, what does a team mean, because it's important and there are always a lot of questions regarding this. So a team license, if you want an individual, want a single team, just $49. A class is up to 30 students, meaning 6 teams. It costs $179. I think it's almost 30% off. And then a school license It's up to 200 students, 40 teams, and it's almost, I think it's over 70% off. And this is a question that a lot of teachers ask, so pay attention. You cannot split teams and make bigger teams or smaller teams. Meaning, if you bought a school license, for example, you cannot have a team of, you cannot have a single team of 200 students, or you cannot have 2 teams of 100 students. You can only have 40 teams of up to 5 students each. You can have, only 10 teams of up to 5 students each, but you cannot migrate seats from one team to another and create like this bigger ultra team. A, because it's not fair, and B, because it was not supposed to be played that way. If you're Title I, then you are entitled to 40% off, and we understand that for a lot of you, just speaking about the prices, just value-wise, you should buy the bigger bundle. These are the 3 options we have, and as I said earlier, you cannot split the types of the licenses. Meaning, if you bought school bundle, you cannot have 20 teams junior, 20 teams pro, or 10 teams novice, 20 teams junior, 10 teams pro. All 40 teams are from the same division. If you want to have like 12 teams, and 6 of them for junior and 6 of them of pro, even if school license is more lucrative price-wise, you would have to buy 2 classes and assign 6 of them to pro and 6 of them to junior. As I know it's my last slide to talk, but I think a lot of you are asking about CoderZ League Season 2 or more CoderZ League Season 1, because developers start counting from 0. So on the next CoderZ League iteration, it will start in September, and we see the Sprint Challenge as a great stepping stone towards CoderZ League. So if, for example, you want your students to participate in junior in the league in September, then you can join Novice now, and they will come much more prepared to play on junior. Or you play junior now and join pro in the fall. I think it's a great experience, and there's a great continuity between the contents.
Excellent. I have another video that we can show for students. Any other thoughts on the pricing before we move on, though? No other thoughts? I don't see any other questions. I know it's pretty straightforward. It's not expensive, y'all. It's just not. So it's a great way to get started. So here we go. Let's fingers crossed. I'm going to try something a little different this time, Yossi. So if you'll help me out. Let's see. There it is. And do you see the video yet?
My favorite game is disco blocks because one of my favorite subjects is math, and it involves a lot of math.
I don't see it.
Our experiences in CoderZ League have helped us learn to work together, and as a result, has made us more of a team.
One of my favorite subjects was lasers versus balloons, because whenever you have to rotate, you work on angle and the distance, and you're still moving the robot.
Kids are all in, and we are all in for them. I'm getting better at this, y'all. I know it's not easy, is it? It's all the maneuvering. I'm not that great at it. Okay, so we're all in. We're ready to go. And loving math. I love that. That he loves the math and he loves the challenge there. That's super fun. So let's get a quick recap. Registrations are open. Yossi went through the timeline with you. Competition starts March 1st, so let's get it on. Some folks have asked about purchasing process. You can either do a purchase order or a credit card. registration page is on our website, so all the logistics are there. And I also want to mention, definitely, we have, in addition to all the support team, and please remember, we do have a great support team that is always ready for you. We also have our Facebook page, and we would love for you to join the CoderZ League Facebook group. If you're going to be part of the challenge, we have teachers who are our champion teachers. That's what Meredith is, one of them. She's been awesome, and she offers, and other teachers offer sage advice and support throughout the competition. So please, this is your place for feedback, sharing, and all those things CoderZ League. Plus, that's going to be a great spot for you to learn more about what's coming in the fall, just like Yossi shared, starting in September. I will also put in the chat, actually I'll have Anat put it in the chat, the contact information for our support team. We have an 800 number and an email address. They're there for you to answer your questions right then, right there. And so if the Facebook page isn't, or the Facebook group isn't responding to you quick enough, or you need something, support is really your best first alternative for all things and all questions, CoderZ League. So we are super excited to have you join us, and we're looking forward to this sprint challenge. This is a result of requests that teachers made, and we're super proud to be able to bring that to you. And we're not just here for those kids that raise their hands and say, pick me. We're here for the kids who didn't really want to or didn't know they wanted to yet. We want to find all those kids, so please bring them all in. We have the tutorial time frame, and then they go into the challenges. Yossi said it, it's a great place to get started and get kids excited. Yossi, thank you so much for sharing and bringing this to everybody. We appreciate your hard work, and we look forward to a really tremendous CoderZ League Sprint challenge.
Yeah, thank you for having it. I just see a question that someone asked at the beginning, and now that's again, so I don't want them to go home feeling like they were unanswered. Can a student be part of two teams? The answer is yes.
Oh, good.
If it's in a different division, they can be part of two teams in the same division, but they can be part of junior and novice. That was a question that I just saw first thing when we started, and now I see it again, and I didn't want them to go home feeling unsatisfied.
What a great idea, though, because that kid could be helping in one group and challenged in the other group. So I love that idea.
What Kathy said about the Facebook group is super great, because a lot of teachers there ask for other teachers for advice, and this is a great tool. If you're a teacher that is kind of worried that you might, you might not get the hang of it, don't worry. The Facebook group is another great place where you can come and just ask a quick question, and there's a lot of chatting there. So you post a question, and then 10 minutes later, someone says, hey, well, my students did this, or contact me or DM me, and let's figure this out. And so it's a great community, and you should definitely join.
Yeah, and if you have the question, somebody else does too, I'm sure, right? Exactly. Thank you guys so much. That concludes our webinar for this afternoon. Yossi said we do have another one coming up February 24th. Same registration page that you used for this webinar if you'd like to join us on the 24th before the competition starts March 1st. Thank you so much, and may the code be with you.
Bye, everyone.